this absolutely beautiful location on A1A on the Strip?
You're talking about Burlock Coast.
Huh? Welcome to Air Canada Travel Guide's Hockey Edition. I'm Pierre Houde. This is a series where we get to meet some of our favorite personalities in the game, and today is no different. Let's take off right now to Fort Lauderdale with Marc Denis. Marc, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Good to see you, Pierre.
This is pretty different than our day-to-day life. Usually, we're side by side, not only in the booth, but in the plane as well.
In the plane, I'll be window side, you'll be aisle side, and we'll travel wherever the plane takes us.
And then you'll close the shades sometime.
Yeah, sometimes I need my rest.
Marc, why Fort Lauderdale to start with?
You know, Fort Lauderdale takes you to a different climate, takes you to a different light, and I think it just takes you away from everyday life, like in such an easy manner. So to me, it was just natural. Fort Lauderdale came quickly.
But in your case, there are many, many assets that actually relate to your day-to-day life. One of them is being fit. Running is still one of your passion.
There's obviously a natural there, and thank you for calling me fit. I'm going to remember that one, and don't worry, you know, compliments are always welcome. Tying up my sneakers, and the next thing you know, you're right on A1A. You get the beach and the ocean right beside you. You choose your route, which is really easy. You're not going to get lost in the streets there. You're just running one way all the way through. You get a little bit of everything. You know, you get the sun, you get the ocean, you get that feeling of being away for an hour and a half, taking your mind off your everyday stress.
So, you run, you walk, you work.
I do.
And also have a distinct appreciation for some of those hot spots. And I think that there's one, we do have a bond with this place, the Elbow Room without the W.
Yeah, it's just a legendary dive bar right on the Strip, right on A1A in Las Olas. Everybody that's been to Fort Lauderdale once knows about the Elbow Room. It's definitely non-pretentious. You're not quite sure if it's an indoors or an outdoors experience you're living. There's a bar inside, there's a bar outside, there's a second floor, there's live music. Just everybody will be brushing elbows, no pun intended, just to be away for a moment. There's going to be a very varied crowd of
all ages.
All ages, from 21 and up, and people our age, your age, my age. We're different age, obviously.
No, not that big.
And
just a tad.
Yeah, and you'll always know somebody at the Elbow Room. The Elbow Room is just so mythical. I mean, the recent champs chose the Elbow Room to celebrate their championship. You know, it's been well publicized. It's just a legendary dive bar.
And if we expand a little bit on the spot, actually the whole Las Olas area is quite unique. It's like a microcosm within the larger Lauderdale area.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
and lots of options.
Yeah, and just a tad inland, just walking around happy hour is my favorite time of the day to do so. There are so many different things you can do, from the small boutiques, the restaurants, the the easy access bars, or one other thing that I love to do on Las Olas, and that's probably where I got some of my restaurant recommendations on Las Olas, is, the old straight blade close shave that I'm gonna get at the Spot, my favorite barber shop over there.
Now this is I know you. This is a very important inner moment for you.
Yeah.
Although it may sound a bit awkward when you travel for business.
Yeah, unique, I guess, maybe to my taste. You can ask any of the barbers on site for their recommendation.
I was about to say it becomes a tourist bureau.
It does. It does. It becomes a tourism bureau. You're right, because you're going to ask for a recommendation. Especially, as I said, love to go there around happy hour, just a tab before, and you're going to ask about, where's your next stop for a drink or for a good meal.
So is this where you got the tip to go to the Lobster Sea Grill?
Reading me like an open book, you are. That's absolutely where I got that recommendation, and just a few steps away there on Las Olas, Lobster Sea Grill. It's in the name. Obviously, you go there for seafood, but you walk in. It's an extravagant white bar. You're going to get great service. I was there for a romantic dinner. My significant other, obviously, my wife came to meet me there for a couple of days. We had a nice romantic dinner, outstanding service, good seafood. Just your traditional nice white linen type of restaurant. Where one of the things I prefer about Las Olas is, you know, you'll find shorts, tank tops, and flip flops, but you'll find tuxedos and nightgowns as well. That's what I love about being on Las Olas.
Geographically, Fort Lauderdale has a very strategic position on the East Coast.
Of course.
I think you like to go south for a day.
Yeah. I think South Beach, I think that's what you're trying to get to here.
Yep.
To me, it's just such a vibrant area and such an easy day trip. There are good restaurants, there are good hotel pools. You can enjoy the beach, which is quite different than what it is up north in Fort Lauderdale. You're going to spend a great day, and you're only, 60 minutes away from being back in Fort Lauderdale.
Takato.
Yeah.
That is, and I know that, very high on your list of restaurants in the area.
I'm going to say my favorite. My favorite. I don't go to Fort Lauderdale without having dinner there. It's very specific. I go there for dinner. You've been there with me. I've been there with my wife. I've been there with friends that stay in the Fort Lauderdale area. I'll go there by myself and sit at the bar. I think it's one of those experiences where it's in a recent hotel that's been built right on the beachfront. The sommelier is outstanding there. Comes from a wine family as well, if I remember correctly. Never been served a bad wine or a wine that wasn't up to my liking in there. And a very special taste, I guess, that I have is fusion cuisine. And I like Asian influences. And you're going to get from sushi to tartars to just a piece of meat that's going to be so delicious. So to me, Takato is only a few steps away from where we usually stay at a hotel right on A1A. And it's just a great night.
All right. Here's one I don't know exactly. I don't think I've ever been with you. Moss. Tell us about that.
What I remember the most about the attentive bar staff, because I sat at the bar, I was by myself there, good selection of wine by the glass. And when you order, so it had to be a piece of meat that I had for dinner. He came with like what felt like a piece of art. And I was like, why are they showing me this? Well, they were showing me a piece of art. That was my knife selection for the night. So, I remember that very vividly. The steakhouses will put down the establishment steak knife right beside you. They make you choose your own handle and the length of the steak knife.
That's amazing.
It was just amazing. So I remember that very vividly. It's in one of the newer hotels right on the main street, right by the beach as well. This one is more of an indoors place. It's got two different bars. It's got an open kitchen concept. And enjoyed my night at Moss. I'm definitely going to return.
Now, this next place.
Yes.
This absolutely beautiful location on A1A on the Strip.
You're talking about Burlock Coast.
Uh-huh.
The morning we'll start with a coffee.
He's a coffee freak.
I know I am. I drink too much coffee. And then on the way back, right after the run, in a hotel that we stayed quite a lot is where the Burlock Coast is. And I won't even go up to my room because, that's mornings in Fort Lauderdale are just for that, right? People that walk and run along A1A, and I'll just sit right down at Burlock Coast. Burlock Coast is one of those hotel restaurants where you're always welcome.
And this is something very interesting we can share with our viewers right now, is the fact that when we are in this situation, you and I, it's also a working environment for us. And usually at breakfast that we share together, this is where we actually build the editorial content of our broadcast. Because broadcasting a hockey game, of course, is calling the game as we see it and as you know it. But at the same time, it takes some preparation. And if I can suggest the fact that when we do have breakfast in this particular context in Fort Lauderdale, it brings some sort of a different spirit being at work. All right, let's talk about steak 954.
To me, it's just when you're looking for your traditional steak menu, you can't hit it wrong with steak 954. It's just one of those. I remember, I don't know if you do, we came in on a late flight.
Absolutely.
You know it's open. You don't want any headaches. All you want is steak in your plate with some veggies and go back home. That's exactly what you're going to get at steak 954. And once again, it's right by the sidewalk, right by the beach.
Mark, what is magic for you about Fort Lauderdale?
Now, obviously, you're chasing better weather, you're chasing the sun, and you're going to get that. But I do believe there's a friendliness about the people of Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, of course, the service people that we get to meet. where it's just easy to take your mind off, but also, just fine if you're looking for a working environment. I think to me, easy would be a word that comes to mind when I'm thinking about Fort Lauderdale.
Mark, before we split, or before we land, actually.
Yeah, before we land, of course.
You have 2 sons?
Yes.
That are adults now.
Absolutely.
But how was it when you went as a family to Fort Lauderdale?
But once again, this is the perfect destination because when they're young, you can just spend time at the beach or at the pool. Any restaurant will, welcome family, obviously, in Fort Lauderdale. And now that they're both of legal age, they're going to find they're going to be able to find not too much trouble, but just enough trouble to have fun.
Well, Marc Denis, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Pierre.
It's been a pleasure. Yes, this was Marc Denis, and you were watching Air Canada Travel Guides Hockey Edition. May I also invite you to watch our other episodes of this series. We will fly in one of them to Los Angeles with goaltender Samuel Montembeault, and we will also visit the incredible city of Boston with Marie-Philippe Poulin.